Hi everyone, I am Cheshta and I am going to cover the very important topic, that is the quota bill for economically weaker general category. And in this video, I am going to cover the definition, that what exactly is the quota bill, what is all the news about the quota bill going on, what is the eligibility criteria to be a part of this reservation, that is the quota bill for the economically weaker. Mind these words, the economically weaker general category. Again, I'll be discussing about the horizontal and the vertical reservation. Apart from this, I'll be discussing what is the current reservation status in India and among the different states of India. So do watch the video till end to know everything about the quota bill for economically weaker general category. So the video covers about the announcement which has recently been made by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So this is important regarding the ministry which has introduced this quota bill for the general category, and to mind it is applicable for the economically weaker section of the general category. So the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment has introduced this quota bill where they would be providing the 10% quota reservation or 10% reservation in the education and the employment field for the general category. So one thing to remember is the economically weaker section of the general category are being covered under this 10% reservation, which is being announced by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So till now the reservation is provided on the caste, that is the SC, ST, OBC. So these are the reservation criteria till now which has been followed, but now that has been provided on the basis of the income, that is on the basis of the income this general category would be provided the reservation, and therefore it mentions that it provides the 10% reservation to the economically weaker section of the general category. Now coming to this part where 10% reservation would be provided, who all are eligible or who all fall in the category where they would be given the 10% reservation as per the economically weaker section of the general category candidate. So the eligibility criteria has the following points. The first one tells about the annual income below rupees 8 lakh. So this category tells about the total annual income of the household. Now this covers the household, and the annual income should be below 8 lakh per annum. Now simultaneously, while we'll be discussing about the eligibility criteria, we'll be discussing about what percentage of the Indian population would be covered under this economically weaker section general category quota. So if we talk about the very first eligibility, annual income below rupees 8 lakh. So according to the NSSO survey, so there was this NSSO survey and this the latest survey 2011-12, the 95, so at least 95% of the total Indian population, that is 95 is approximately 127 crores, so 127 crore of the population of India earn less than 8 lakh rupees per annum. So if we talk about this eligibility of annual income below 8 lakh rupees, then the 95% of the Indian population would be covered. Now here it means that these four eligibility should be followed, not just one, but these all should be covered, or these all should be validated before giving the 10% general category reservation. Another category eligibility criteria is the agricultural land which is less than 5 hectares. So the agricultural land which is with the households, they should be less than 5 hectares. Now, if we talk about the agriculture census, here we talked about the census or the data conducted by the National Sample Survey Office. Now, we'll talk about the agriculture census, which tells that 86.2% of the land holdings in India were either 2 hectares or just under 5 acres. So, it means that 86.2% of the population of India likely to be fall under this or likely to be eligible for this agricultural land less than 5 hectares eligibility. Next is the current residential property which should be less than the 1000 square feet. So this tells about the house in which you are living. It should be, to be eligible for this reservation, the residential property should be less than 1000 square feet. So again, according to the National Sample Survey Office report, at least 80%. So the lower range is 80% and at most 90% would be eligible for this residential property less than 1000 square feet. So this means that around 95% of the Indian population after this quota bill would be covered under either one or other quota or reservation. So this means that after this quota is being implemented, it will cover practically all of the population, either one or other reservation. Now coming back to the another eligibility criteria that says that the residential plot less than 109 yards in the notified municipality and 209 yards in the non-notified municipality. So these are all the eligibility criteria which needs to be fulfilled, and these are basically on the basis of the income, the agricultural land and the residential property or the plot held by the people. So if the people or the general category economically weaker sections of the society or the general category complies with this eligibility criteria, they would be eligible for the 10% reservation in the employment and the education sector. Now we talk about as of the date, that is 10th January 2019, this bill has been passed by both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Now we'll see how the implementation will go through. So any reservation beyond the 50% limit will be, so why I am saying the 50%, I'll be discussing about this 50% in the next slide. So any reservation beyond this 50% limit will require the government to get the constitutional amendment passed in the parliament. So the implementation of this quota reservation bill would require the constitutional amendment, that is the amendment needs to be made in the constitution if we need to provide the 10% reservation to the economically weaker general category candidates. So for this, the Article 15 and 16 would be affected, and they need to be implemented before providing the 10% reservation. Now, what is Article 15 of the Constitution and what is Article 16? This is very important. So Article 15 deals with the discrimination or discriminating any citizen on the ground of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them. So this Article 15 is based on the discrimination, and Article 16 tells about the equal opportunity to all the citizens of India in the government job. So to provide the reservation to the economically weaker general candidates, the amendment needs to be made in the Article 15 and 16 of the Constitution, where Article 15 deals with the discrimination, so where it states that they prohibit discrimination on any ground, and Article 16 deals with the equal opportunity for all the citizens in the government jobs. Therefore, Article 15 and 16 would be amended when this bill will be converted into an act. Next very important thing is that it is the 124th Constitutional Amendment Bill. Here we are talking about the amendment which needs to be made in the Constitution. So this is the 124th Constitutional Amendment Bill 2019, and it needs to be passed by both the houses, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. And as I just told you, as of 10th January 2019, the information available is that it has been passed by both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. It should be passed by the special majority of 2/3 of the member present, and the voting criteria which should not be less than 1/2 of the total strength of the houses. So if we talk about the special majority, so it should be 2/3 of all the total members present, and the voting should not be less than 1/2 of the total strength of the houses. So this is the criteria which needs to be followed in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the bill has been passed by both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. If the bill has not been passed by both the houses within the term of this Lok Sabha, it would have been lapsed. So this is how this 124th Constitutional Amendment Bill regarding the quota reservation for the 10% of the economically weaker section general category has been passed. Next, we'll come up to the point where what is the current reservation status in India. So if we are giving the 10% reservation to the economically weaker general candidates, and in the beginning we talked about that the reservation is being provided to the ST, ST, OBC and other categories as well. So what is the current reservation status, how it will be implemented, what are the future implications? This is how the things would be in the future. So there was this reservation cap, that is according to the Mendel case judgment in the year 1992, where the Supreme Court has put the reservation cap of 50%. This means that no state would have the reservation among the state more than 50%. There is already 49.5% that is given to the SC, that is the scheduled caste, ST, scheduled tribes, and the socially and educationally backward classes or other backward classes. So currently there is 15% reservation for the scheduled caste. This is compulsory. Next is the 7.5% for the scheduled tribes and 27% for the other backward classes. Now, this is how, or this is what the current reservation status is in India, but it varies from states to states. Now, one thing which should cross your mind right now is that how would they be providing the 10% reservation if it is the all, if the reservation is already 49.5% and the cap is 50%. So there is a criteria where we called it as the horizontal and the vertical reservation. So what it means that, first of all, what is vertical reservation? So this is the total bar where 49.5%, so this is the current reservation status or the current cap, that is 49.5%, which is being already given to the SC, ST and OBC. So this is the reservation for SC, ST and OBC. Now if we talk about the 10% reservation. So there is a way how they will be implementing it. So if the 10% reservation would be provided in the upper bar. So this upper bar would have this 10% reservation. That means the total reservation would cross 50% criteria and it might go to 60, approximately 60%. So this means that the Supreme Court indeed agrees to lift the 50% cap and the people without any quota will have to lose on the, so these people will lose on the state services. And this is what the vertical reservation is, where the reservation is being provided on the basis of the different castes, that is the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC, and now the economically weaker general candidates. So this is how the vertical reservation looks like. Now what if we talk about the horizontal reservation, or it is known as the interlocking reservation, where the quota is being provided within the quota. So suppose there is a reservation for women in the SC category. So that is the quota within quota and it is known as the horizontal reservation. So suppose the reservation is provided for the ex-servicemen, person with disabilities, sportsmen, minorities, women. So the reservation provided to the within the quota is known as the horizontal reservation. And when we are providing the reservation on the basis of the bar, where there is complete bar and we are dividing that bar among the different castes and people, then it is known as the vertical reservation. This horizontal reservation actually cut across this vertical reservation. So if this is the reservation for the SC category and here the women are also getting the reservation, suppose they are getting the 1% reservation among the SC categories. So it means that it is the horizontal reservation and this in total talks about the vertical reservation. So what are the future implications of this reservation? So there are two ways how it will look. So if Supreme Court removes this bar of 50%, so if Supreme Court above agrees for the 50% criteria and it removes the bar for the 50%, then the people without reservation would lose on the state services. Or if Supreme Court keeps the bar, so if Supreme Court keeps the bar of 50%, then this 10% would come under the pie of this already reserved category, that is for the SC, ST and OBC. If you look at this pie, so if Supreme Court removes the bar, then there would be another 10% reservation for the economically weaker general category candidates. Or if the bar intact, so there would so this 10% would be taken from this SC, ST and OBC reservation. Now, what is the current status of the reservation among the different states? So, if we talk about Haryana, so there is the proposed 67%. Now, these states are already having their prescribed or proposed reservation status which they need to pass. But two important things which needs to remember is regarding Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. So, Tamil Nadu currently has 69% of reservation, even if there is a bar of 50% by Supreme Court. So, they have the 69% reservation since 1994 through an act which was passed under the 9th schedule. So this is very important that Tamil Nadu has 69% reservation since 1994 and it has been passed under the 9th schedule of the constitution. Maharashtra, after passing the reservation or after getting the reservation of 16% to the Marathas, they have this 60% reservation total quota, or they have the total quota of 68% among the state. If we talk about Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Rajasthan, Haryana and Gujarat, they are proposing a better, or they are proposing a increase in the quota, that is approximately 55, 62, 54, 67 and these are all above the 50% criteria. So this is not the first time we are talking about the quota reservation. There has always been a timeline which has been followed by the government, and then and now they are coming up with this quota reservation thing. So the first reservation was regarding in the year 1950, when there were constitutional provisions for the SC/STs. So the provision was first time in the 1950. Then in the year 1951, there was this amendment which led to the reservation in the educational institutions. Then in the year 1953, there was this Kaka Kelkar committee, which commission, which identified that OBC needs to get the quota. Then in the year 1992, there was this cap which was put by the Supreme Court of India after providing 27% reservation for the OBC candidates. Then in the year 2010, Supreme Court allows the states or different states to exceed this 50% reservation if that is justified by any scientific data. Then in the year 2014, there was this amendment where the center allows the OBC status to the judge. So then and now we are hearing about this reservation status being passed during the elections time. So this is all which you need to remember regarding the quota reservation and what is the current reservation status in India. What needs to be remembered regarding the different sections which are amendment while passing this bill. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel Anuj Jindal. You will find this button right here. Do not forget to share the video with the other people as well who are preparing for the government jobs. Thank you so much for watching the video.